So the spindle goes in, and you only have to tighten this finger tight. It doesn't need to be very tight. Time being, there we go. Then the brass washer goes on, and for comparison, that's the old brass washer. You see, all out of shape. So that's what the old one looked like. Then this carbon ring, I'll admit I don't really know the purpose of that, but look at the old one. That's chewed to bits, absolutely chewed to bits, and it was even falling to bits when I took it out. You see this this little bit here, that's part of the carbon washer. So once those two are in, we can then put this back on, and this keeps them both in place. Now it's getting quite tight, but you still have to be able to turn the spindle even when this is in. So I'm going to make sure that's pushed into place, but that the spindle turns, and the spindle does turn. So let's hope that that doesn't need to go any further. Okie dokie. Right, so this is quite tight with fingers, and this now turns quite freely, as you can see if I do that. And that's the closed position all the way over to the right. Okay, next thing to go in is a little bit fiddly, and if you forget which way it goes in, it's pretty easy to work it out. If you look at it from this direction, this side that the spindle is on is offset to that centre part, which is where the needle is going to go down. So the needle is kind of going to sit in here, in that bit there. So if you just remember, the spindle's on this side, so the needle has those tiny notches in to connect with the notches in the spindle. And I didn't get a new needle, don't ask me why, I have no idea. And this is a little bit fiddly because you've got to try and get that down into there, and dropping it might actually just work, who knows. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Is that going to work? Surely not. It can't be that easy. It is a very, very, very fiddly piece. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some tweezers. Right, that's sitting in place. I didn't get tweezers, I got a brad awl, but never mind. That's sitting in place. You should be able to see through there. Can you? I've got some light on that, but it's quite difficult to see. But you should be able to see the needle sitting in there. So if we turn the spindle, that should drop eventually back down into position. Now remember, when this burner is on the top of there, that pin should not be too high up. So let's just, I'm just gonna fiddle with this a little bit to make sure that where it is, make sure that the spindle, when closed, is going down, and it's not going down. That's it. So that should be in place. Now, there's a proper tool for the burner, which is replaced. This is a brand new burner, and if you can see the shape of the top of the burner, I don't know what shape that is, but that's it. So that has to somehow go down on top of the needle. Now, it really would actually make a huge difference if I had some tweezers, but I haven't, so I've just kind of dropped it in and it's gone to place. Now, what I do have is, I had an old 1/4 inch ratchet spanner, and there was a few little extension tubes on it like this. This is the shortest one, and I never ever used it, so I cut a groove out of it with my angle grinder. You see the groove in there? So it perfectly fits over the burner to enable me to screw that burner into position, which is exactly what I'm doing now. So the burner's in position, but the needle is up and it needs to go down. So let's turn this. It's not turning at all, so that clearly isn't yet in the right place. So the burner has to come back out. And let me figure out how to get that needle dropped down. Maybe I need to drop the needle. You see, fully over in that position would be clean, and therefore the needle would need to be pointing up. There we go, that's it. It's down. Now let's see if I'm going to be lucky with the burner again. Let's just get that lined up. Get my homemade tool. I don't know how much of this you can actually see, but that's the homemade tool sitting on the burner, and I've tightened it, and I've gone for quite hard finger tight. Okay, so now when I turn this, if I turn it fully open, after the fully open position, it should enter what's called the cleaning position. And yes, I don't know how easy it is for you to see on there, but the needle is just rising through the tiny hole in the burner, and that's with the spindle fully anti-clockwise, which is the clean position. So if we turn the right, so if you can actually see that needle popping through the middle of the burner, turning it fully clockwise, which is shut, has dropped the needle down out the way. Okay, so that appears to be working correctly. So that's a big way from here. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is put this wire mesh thing. It's kind of like a very tightly wound copper mesh or brass mesh, and it's some kind of odd filter that goes in here, and it's not especially easy to get in. How am I going to do that? Right, okay, so if I just kind of twist that, is it going to want to go in? It doesn't want to go in. Maybe if I twist it anti-clockwise, depends on the way it's being wound. I don't want to take that wire off yet in case that actually holds it all together. Because if it does and then it all unravels, well, I'm bugging, aren't I? Oh, there we go. Have we got progress there? Right, so it looks like we just pressed down on that. Now that's where the fuel goes in. So I mean, is that just some kind of baffle that prevents the fuel from surging through? And the answer, I actually don't know. I have no idea. But that's how it goes on anyway. Right, so that's it, pretty much back together. This new washer goes on there, that new washer goes on there, and then we'll fit this back to the burner, the heater. Obviously for a very long time. Now I knew there was water down there, and I've cleared all that. It just needs cleaning out properly, but now I've found that there. So yeah, the entire cabin will have to be stripped because I want to make sure I find all the water that has come in, all the wood that's been damaged by it, like that. I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there's going to be more wood. Check anything like this. I mean, you can see that's slightly corroded, that pipe. That's actually the exhaust for the engine, so I don't want that messing up. So I want to find anything else that's been affected by the wet that's come in. Major job. I've been what I might call tidying up. So right then. Well, I found a lot of mooring ropes, and there's loads of fenders. I've just put about 6 on the deck. And this is all full up with gear, and that's all full up with stuff. I finally found these two. It's the steaming, the anchor ball and the steaming under power thing. So I found them, and I found that's the new rope that I bought. And oh man, that's just mess. That's just mess. You know, what is it again? Is it the ball for when you're at anchor? And it's a triangle, because these open out, these are like foldy up things, and it's the triangle. You just run them up the flag lines, and the triangle is for when you're under power, under sailing, like using the motor, and that's so when you're at anchor and you'll put that up on the flag line. That's what they're for. And there's another big fender. Look at that big fat bugger there. What the hell is that for? I mean, what is that actually for? Because I found, where the hell's it gone? That waterproof floating barrel thing is full of rope. I found another anchor with a shitload of chain on. Now that chain is like £15 a metre, so God knows what that's worth. And you can't see it down there, it's tucked away out of sight now. No, it's not. It might be. But the back, there's a long, you can just see on the back wall there, there's a long foam fender. And that's for when you want to go to a fender wall that's a bit rough and the ball might get whatever, and you just hang that over the side, so you've got kind of like a plank of foam instead of just a little ball, because the ball might like fit between something or whatever, I don't know. And what else did I find? I found something else of interest as well, but I've lost it now. Some more rope, yeah, tons of rope. Tons of rope. I found mouse and line, and I've just gone and bought some mouse and line, haven't I? But there's some in there. There's about 40 metres of it. Mousing line is when, like, you want to replace the halyards here, so you splice a bit of this mousing line, which is really thin, onto the end of your halyard, and then when you pull your halyard through, the mousing line comes through, and so you can pull the new halyard back through without having to go up the mast. You do it all from the deck, which is brilliant. You don't have to go up the mast, you don't have to rethread the sheave up there, you just do it with the mousing line. It's absolutely brilliant. What else did I find? I found something else that was really interesting, and I can't find it now. I can't see it at all. I don't even know what it was. I've seen that much stuff, man. But check this out, right? You've got to, I mean, you can see the size of this on the scale of my hand, my scarred hand now. It's not enormous, and you've got to kind of, oh yeah, shitloads of cable, man. Oh, you'll see in a minute. I'll show you in a minute. I'm too busy trying to get in. Right, so you try to get in here, and then, oh hell's teeth, man. What? There's a step down there, thankfully. And then you've really got to watch your bum when you drop your weight, because there's cleats sticking up above the level of the ones. Guess how I found that out? Yeah, we'll not go into that, I'm traumatised. Anyway, yes, if you sit down hard on them, look, see that cleat sticking up? If you sit down hard on that, you will know about it. My legs are resting on it, it's okay, it doesn't hurt if you're just resting on it, but that's like 3 thumbs higher than the wood, so you've got to watch what you're doing. Fuel tank down there, or Basto, which doesn't work. Bilge pump, just the manual one, which doesn't work. Well, it kind of works, it sort of works, but it leaks like billy-o. So I've actually got a lot of tidying up to do in here, cleaning up and that, to try and get rid of all the dampness where it's been leaking. And that's a fairly new tank, that. I think it's about 140 litres or something. But honestly, it stinks of diesel in here. And I can't find an obvious leak. There's a little tiny bit of damp around the filler, which you might be able to see. I'll drop my lamp down there. There's a big filler with all the pipes on. There's a tiny little bit of fuel damp around that, but nothing sort of excessive. You can barely feel it. But yeah, there's definitely a leak. So yeah, ropes and sheets and halyards. That I'm going to stick a short rope on that, and I'm going to fix that to the rear rail where it should be, really, because it depends on the situation, but if you're at sea and you have a man overboard, the idea is you don't throw that to him and then reel him in, because that's unrealistic to think that's actually going to happen. What you would more likely to do would be you would throw that to him to keep him afloat while you turn the boat around to go and pick him up. That's what you'd probably do. But then you'd have another line, or a halyard, or whatever you want to call it, and it would have a great big shackle. That's not a shackle, that's just a hook. There's the one with the shackle on. I thought one of them had a shackle. Look at this, it doesn't matter where you move, there's so much bloody stuff. I can't move in here, it's unreal. Absolutely unreal. No, I can't find the one with the shackle on, but anyway. Oh, there's another bloody hook. What the hell's that for? Jesus Christ. What the hell is that? That's a baby anchor. The anchors I've got 3 anchors. I think they've been breeding. They've bred me a little baby anchor. Oh, bless. Alright, okay. Stick that down there. Anyway, so you chuck a rope over like that with a shackle on, and he shackles onto that, and you hoist them up with a halyard. You hoist them back on board. So that should be on the reel somewhere, so that if somebody does go overboard, you can grab it really quickly and chuck it really quickly at the person who's in the water, even though they will have a flotation device on, because you have to have when you're on the boat. But it's just extra safety in it, you know. So there we go. That's my night. All these fenders, all this rope, all this crap, all these babies to feed. I forgot about the baby. Yeah, there's a baby down there. All that baby to feed. All this stuff's got to be tidied up, because the problem is having all this gear is that you've got to be able to get at it. And one of the things I hated about the camper van was whenever you wanted something out of the storage, you'd put it in, whichever storage that was. Oh, well, my phone fit there, yeah. If I lean over, does that look like I'm like straight? Right, anyway. So one of the problems was, if I wanted something, I had to pull 50 other things out the way to get at that something. And it didn't matter what I wanted, it was always buried. It was never, the thing that I wanted was never, ever, ever at the front. And of course it got mussed up each time, so every couple of months you have to start tidying up again and put things away and put them tidy and all that kind of stuff, you know. And that becomes a bind after 15 years. Yeah, something else. Yeah, after 15 years of being in the van and travelling. Don't get me wrong, I still love it, and I'm loving travelling, and I'm not travelling at the moment, obviously, but you know, I'm never ever going to say I hate it. But that does bring its own problems, and that was one of them. That was the major ones. So from the outset, when I was finding all the stuff in the boat here, and all the stuff you've got to, damn you little bugger, and all the stuff you've got to keep on hand, because you want fenders on hand, because if you're coming into dock, you're going to need them out fairly rapid. Like you can't mess about hunting them out. Oh, where's my fenders gone? And spend 10 minutes looking for them all. Like, they've got to be easily accessible. When you want a mooring line, I mean, you've got to be on there pretty sharpish, because there's kind of 4 lines that you moor with, 4 main ones, or springers, and you know, you've got to be out with a couple of lines and out with a couple of springers, and you've got to get them on fairly sharpish when you first moor up, so especially if there's a swell or you're in a tidal situation or it's really windy or whatever. So you've got to get them on and get the boat stable before you do anything else. So you can't be messing around hunting stuff out in here when it's dark anyway. I'm going to fit a light in here. That's one of the first things I'm going to do with electrics. I'm going to put a nice bright light in here. So yeah, all this tidying up is kind of necessary, because I need to know what I've got. I've just wasted money on a mousing line that I didn't need, and that was about 20 odd quid. So that's 20 odd quid I've just really thrown down the drain because I didn't need that line. So I'm making an inventory. I've done the rest of the boat. I've inventoried almost every single solitary thing on the boat. I've got this locker to do, which all this stuff is out of that locker. So all that's got to be inventoried. And there's a locker over that side as well. And it's as big as this one. there's more room actually, because there's a couple of gas tanks but there's no fuel tank, so there's actually probably more room in that one. Anyway, that's going to be for kind of mechanical tools, boat tools, DIY tools and equipment and products and all that kind of stuff, and cleaning products and all that. That's going to be that kind of thing over there. Over here is going to be essential boat equipment, so it'll be the electric cables, it'll be the chains and the anchors that I'm not actually using at the moment. Kedge anchor is the real one that you sometimes put on. All the fenders, all the ropes, all that kind of stuff is going to go in this side. So that's organised in that way, but then I'm going to organise them where they're going to live so I can get at them easily. So the important thing is to be able to get in here with a bit of space. I might as well, when I get round to it, turn those cleats round, so instead of poking up like that, they kind of go sideways. I think that would probably be a really, really sensible idea for when I jump in here, because yeah, sorry, bad memories flooding back. So anyway, that's it what I'm up to tonight. I hope to get all this stuff put back away tonight, inventorying as I go, and then I can get washed up and it'll probably be bedtime by then. Woohoo! Exciting times.